Startup Podcast PH is co-produced by Sprout Solutions, Aperon, Tuala, Simf, Maroon Studios, and Aim High. Check out our partners in the description.
Welcome sa Start Right Podcast series ng Startup Podcast PH, where we talk with incubators, accelerators, and enablers that will help you start right with your startup. We have Benilde Hi-Fi, DOST-TBI, Trailblazing, Benildian Innovation here in College of St. Benilde in Manila. And we have its director and TBI manager, Sir Paul Pajo. Hello, Sir Paul. Kamusta?
Hello. Salamat sa lahat ng nakikinig at nanonood dito sa Startup Podcast PH with Mr. Johnny. Salamat sa punta dito at pag-imbita sa iyong malawak at matinding podcast.
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm very honored to be here in Benilde Hi-Fi and to have you as our guest dito sa episode na to. Actually, I've been seeing you a lot na I got to watch some of your can we call it shows, no? So actually, when I first started the podcast, isa kayo sa mga una kong napapakinggan at napapanood about startups, lalo na sa mga Facebook groups dyan. So, I think many of us here actually know Sir Paul na if you've been tuning into startup shows, startup interviews, kumbaga the startup scene sa Pilipinas. And Sir Paul, you're actually the director and TBA manager of Benilde Hi-Fi dito sa CSB. So, yes, sige sir, let's go directly na into Benilde Hi-Fi. Actually, ang ganda ng building na to, no? Sobrang ganda ng building na to. But can we ask you, sir, ano nga ba ang Benilde Hi-Fi?
So, Benilde Hi-Fi, you can consider as one of the very first social innovation incubator. So, you want to trace that back to the mission of St. John Baptist de La Salle, right? So, after whom DLSU, De La Salle University, is named, and DLSU is my alma mater. It's also part of a group of schools called the De La Salle Philippines, and among its members is the school, parang the mothership of Benilde Hi-Fi, the De La Salle College of St. Benilde. So if you go to the life of St. John Baptist de La Salle, he's a very rich kid, if you want to say that. No? And in fact, you can trace some of the fashion brands in France until now to his family. No? But I think one of the things that, what they call it, the calling in his life was that he wanted to educate the poor people of France. Because during that time, around the 1600s, you can only get an education if you had one-to-one tutor. So only the rich people could afford that. So in the mind of St. John Baptist de La Salle, he wanted to find a way to educate the poor people. So one of the first things he did was, during the time, since he was well-to-do, was he normally during the time I think he was a canon, no? So he's part of parang the religious groups in France during the time. He decided to create a religious order. No, and one of the things he did was he sent one of his friends to school, priest school. And if you look at a seminary, it takes a lot of time, no. So after a few years, graduates yung kanyang friend. And then when he went back, the friend who was now a priest died. So he took that parang, okay, I won't be able to start my movement if I just keep sending people in the time. By the way, if you notice, during that time, no, now we consider 80, di ba, parang 80, 100 for us to live. No? During the time, if you live up to 35, 40, you're already lucky, right?
Yeah.
So remember, Jesus Christ, Alexander the Great, Jose Rizal died at the age of 33. So around 33, 35, if you reach that age, you're lucky. But so consider, you wanna be part of a religious order that teaches poor kids in France, and you end up dying, and it takes you maybe, let's say, 7 to 8 years. So he recalibrated. So in my mind, I consider St. John Baptist de La Salle parang one of the parang earliest startup founders, kasi basically the problem was how to educate the poor people of France, and his first iteration was setting up a religious order, correct? And so he ended up setting FSC, no, Fraternum Scholarum Christianorum. So if you see the brothers in the De La Salle, Philippines, or around the world, they have FSC at the end of their name. No? So he ended up establishing a order and with no priest. It's all brothers, which when you think about it, was quite controversial at that time, but that was the innovation. So we say the Lasallian flavor of innovation is we always ask the question who is excluded.
Oh.
So in that case, the what who was excluded. So this isn't obvious na if you don't if you study innovation and what the social innovation culture in the LaSalle schools, no, that's not obvious, but that's really where that came from. So Saint John Baptist de La Salle basically asked who is excluded, and who was excluded was the poor kids, right? And his innovation was by setting up the FSC, the LaSalle Brothers, which when you think about it, was a forerunner of 'di ba, what do you call this, there's a parang Chom's law or something na you need to set up a structure that will parang harness the benefits of all the market size and all that. And think about it, Saint John Baptist de La Salle preceded that because basically FSC outlived him up to now. That's why we now have
Yeah.
a La Salle school here,
Mm.
right? So there's I think 1 million LaSalle students around the world, maybe 100,000 LaSalle students in the
Skilled.
Philippines. So yun yun. So once you understand that, uh, like here in Binil, one of the metrics we're looking at is how many scholars. We try to increase the number of scholars we have because that's where it came from. Right? We want to actually uh, reach poor people and give them a decent education and all that. So through an accident in history, we ended up having LaSalle schools that are actually for rich people here in the Philippines. Anywhere around the world, it's normally mission schools. That's why when you hear mission school, that's what it is, no? So what happened was, obviously, we all know Jose Rizal, El Felipe Strima, no, Limitangri. We had a history of being under the Spanish friars. And I think after 450 years under the Frilocracy, we get sick and tired of it. So at the turn of the century, when the Americans came, sabi, okay, maybe we can invite a new group of priests or religious order, pero wag ng Spanish kasi nga. So they ended up inviting the French. And parang the anecdote was the LaSalle brothers saying, well, we normally don't educate rich kids kasi we're mission schools, but they kind of said this na paraphrase ko lang to, sabi niya, we don't go where we are not invited. So then in-invite sila, they end up setting up the LSU 1901. So when you notice, that's the start of the American occupation, right? So now we ended up with that Lasallian tradition. So now we have that Lasallian tradition of innovation where we look at who are disadvantaged, who are excluded, and we innovate around it. So yun yung the Lasallian flavor of innovation, right? It's always innovation with inclusion. We use innovation to actually find a way to include those who are excluded later, depending on what your questions is. This will surface in a lot of our initiatives in HiFi. So back in 2016, because of that social innovation, Binil sa school had a lot of social innovation projects. So they said maybe it's better if we put it under an office, and that became Binil Hi-Fi. It became a social innovation incubator because of that Lasallian tradition of innovation with inclusion. Dumami ng dumami yung projects to the point that we needed an office.
Yeah.
So in 2016, Binil Hi-Fi was started under Miss Abby Mapua. And then in 2019, this building was set up, right? And then, of course, pandemic happened. So we just recently parang opened it around 2022, 2023. And then 2023, we got funding from DOST Fisher, 13.9 million pesos to actually incubate yun, creative industry startups under the banner program of Digital Interactive Media, which is basically game development and design. Digital Interactive Media is the name under the Philippine Creative Industry Development Act. And the other one is the design domain because we have a lot of courses under that. So we have industrial design. So design domain, no? Industrial design, interior design, fashion design and merchandising. What's the other one? Architecture. And we have a new one, which is textile design. Obviously, we have other courses as well that we just launched, like cybersecurity. We have social enterprise under the other different schools, but we needed to choose a banner program, and we are considered, Binil's considered one of the top parang creative industry schools in the country. So there. So that's the very long origin, no? But that's part of the
Yeah.
flavor. That's why ganun yung character
Yeah.
ng incubator, because it all follows the how do you say, the mandate or the philosophy, or how St. John Baptist de La Salle wanted to do it. And the other thing is, St. John Baptist de La Salle is also considered the parang patron saint of teachers, professors.
Oh.
So yun. Tapos when you, as a joke, no, parang when you think about it, he basically, during the time, one-on-one yung mga estudyante, di ba? So he needed to create a classroom for the
Mm-mm.
poor kids, right? So he kind of created that structure. So when you think about it, La Salle means the room, the classroom. So parang prophetic rin yung name niya, di ba? Parang he is the saint of teachers and the saint of the first classroom instruction. Kasi dati wala namang, hindi ba kailangan classroom, di ba? Parang one-on-one lang kayo nung tutor mo,
Mm-mm.
di ba? And then he had to set us up.
Oh, ang Lasal, sir, ang ibig sabihin niya is
Di ba, La Salle? Parang sala. In French,
okay.
La Salle.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
there's such a thing now called nominative determinism. That means sometimes your name
By
is
name.
determines your destiny,
Yeah.
kasi parang you get pushed to it. So
Mm.
I don't know if this applies here, pero di ba parang it's nice to think about na parang parang saying La Salle was saying, yeah, parang what does a room have to do with my name? And he ended up to now, right? All schools need rooms, right? And classrooms, right? So
Ayun, grabe, grabe, first of all, Sir Paul, salamat sa pag-share ng napaka-rich na history na yun, ano? At least we get the whole context ng Lasal, actually, first of all, the LSU and CSB, kung ano talaga yung ginagawa nito, and para talagang role niya sa society of the
yes.
Philippines, ano? And para nag-surface nga, ano, first of all, actually, I very much agree na maybe, like, startups were already existing back then. As long as you're a problem solver and basically you innovate and you create a structure, parang nangyari nga dati ang business model. Now kasi parang business model is ano, parang market driven, ganyan. Pero before, wala pa namang ganun ka-free na market. So maybe if you want to create a structure to solve a problem, like you want to educate poor people nga, you have to think that way, no? Parang what you told us kanina na ang way was to create a group or a brotherhood somehow
Yeah.
to expand that
And a
education
structure that will
initiatives.
outlive you.
Yes.
Kasi important dun eh. So parang in a way, he took advantage of and COSE law pala, diba? COSE law, COASE. At a certain point, you need a structure like a corporation to remove the friction in the market. So think about it. That paper was an underground thesis law by Robert Coase in 1960. And St. John Baptist de La Salle preceded that by around more than 400 years. So basically, yun yung advance siyang mag-isip,
Yes,
di ba?
super.
So,
actually, kung ngayon nga mga corporations, somehow yun yung parang, kumbaga, prevailing na structure back then. And hanggang ngayon, yung mga ganyang klaseng structures, yung talaga nagpa-persist and nagme-maintain, if kumbaga, na-maintain na yung vision and mission, kumbaga, ng Lasal even back then was carried until these years. Now, sir, punta naman natin yung social innovation and inclusion. Kasi nga, actually, very noble, na from back then, as well of people, they really wanted to bring education and kumbaga enrich din the underprivileged people. And now ganun pa naman na ginagawa, no? So can we just know a bit lang, sir, siguro maybe with the LSU and with CSB, ano ba talaga ang social innovation and inclusion? Parang how exactly are they doing this? Especially with Benilde Hi-Fi nga, no? Benilde Hi-Fi then was done was created as an office to really push those efforts. Pero maybe can you have parang ano lang sir, concrete examples? Ano ba talaga
Yeah.
ang ibig sabihin nito?
So maybe just to distinguish it, kasi in the US, they have what is called a DEI, di ba? Yung diversity, equity, inclusion. But for some reason, di ba, especially with the administration now in the US, there's now a backlash around it. No? Parang they're now dismantling all this. I think mainly, this is my guess, no? But probably they're experts better than this. I think the issue there is they're doing DEI for the sake of DEI. They're doing diversity, equity, inclusion for the sake of doing it. And the other issue there is yung term nila for equity there is na not equality of opportunities but equality of outcomes, which is hard. 'Di ba? Parang obviously you need to give everyone equal opportunity, but you cannot engineer the outcome because we have what is called a bell curve, 'di ba? That means normally 62 or 63% will do average. Then you will have the outliers who will either overperform or underperform. That's just a statistical reality. So it's really hard to, when you engineer that, that's like a recipe for dystopia, 'di ba? So having said that, when we say social innovation, yeah, we go back to that question, like who are excluded, and then you innovate by trying to include them. So for example, in this case of Saint De La Salle, diba, he created FSC. Saint Benil, the saint after whom College of Saint Benil, he was known to be a plodder. So alam mo yung embrace the grind. So he was known for working with students who are, sabi na lang natin, they are underperformers. But he really parang work with them and just plodded with them. So that's where the adage comes from, na doing doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. Kasi he was very well known for plodding, just grinding. And the other theory of that is Bloom's Two Sigma. So si Bloom, who is a very well-known pedagogy or educational scientist, noticed that let's say I told you about the normal curve. There will be people, so kung average ka, okay lang. That's normally 62%, 68%, 60 to 64% of society. Then you have the overperformers. Obviously, we don't kung ganun ka, average ka or overperformer, okay. But what if you're underperforming? Then that's where social innovation comes in, right? The innovation, according to Bloom, is you add two things: one-on-one instruction plus mastery learning. So if tutukan mo yung estudyante, one-on-one tutoring, and then mastery learning. That means they cannot go to the next level until they master the level where they're at. They end up performing 2 sigma. That means 2 standard deviations better than average. So imagine mo, just that intervention, natutukan mo yung isang estudyante 1:1, tas mastery learning, they end up being part of the outliers. But that's why Saint Benilde had to plod, kasi it's hard to do that, diba? It takes superhuman strength and effort. Maybe that's why he's a saint, no? But now what you're saying is, now we have AI. We can now have AI. We can have group instruction. The mastery learning, you can programatize that. Basically, you set it up na you can't move to the next level. So when you think about that, those two innovations, right? The brothers, and then you have this plodding mastery learning. So we think about that. The fact that Saint Benil preceded again Bloom by about 100 years. So alam na ni Saint Benil na sure, they're overperformers, but if we actually do this intervention for the underperformers in society, they can end up being overperformers if you did the right intervention. So I guess the results speak for themselves, right? Once they discovered that, diba, and they implement that across the schools, that became the social innovation. So the first social innovation was you move away from one-on-one instruction and put them in a classroom and, diba, work with poor people. Next is this one, not necessarily for people, but maybe poor performers. You add. So I guess the next question would be, there might be other interventions, right, that we can do in society if we
Yeah.
really look very, very hard. So basically, when you think about it, if you look at history like as a telescope, the Lasallian brothers have been experimenting with all these interventions kasi they're in school, di ba? So, yun, best experiment in the Philippines, okay, maybe we can work with the rich kids of the Philippines. So now, we associate pag Lasalista ka, di ba? Parang, no one's gonna say na, ano ka, di ba? You're underprivileged kung Lasalista ka, di
Mm.
ba? Although that's really true. Marami kaming scholar, di ba? So, but that became that experiment, when you think about it, is a fairly new experiment kasi 1901 lang naman sila nasa Philippines, and basically, when you think about it, 1 million LaSalle students in the world, maybe only about 1/10 of that are in the Philippines, so are actually from the
Mm.
not underprivileged when you think about it. So yun, so can think of social innovation that way, and the other lens is there must be other things there, diba? And if you continue to look into it, maybe now the modern expression is look into the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. You look at that lens, and then you add the Lasallian flavor of, sige, who's excluded?
Mm.
And then how do we innovate? And now you have that social
Mm.
innovation formula from a Lasallian perspective.
Mm. Yeah, so actually for with what you said, Sir, bale they were experimenting. Startups actually are ano, parang experimenters
Correct.
yan of ano, of business models, of innovations para ma-solve yung particular
Ah,
problem. And parang sa context nga ng Philippines now or sa context now like in this generation, maybe we look at the Philippines, we look at the SDGs. So look at those who are excluded, maybe yung mga financially underprivileged or maybe mga may lack of access to clean water,
mm.
sanitation, whatever, maybe lack of access to food, ganyan, 'di ba? Hunger, poverty, etc. So look at those excluded and then apply innovation. In terms of innovation, marami na tayong technology now, ano, meron tayong mga AI, mga kung ano-anong
Yes.
advanced technology that we may apply there, ano. So speaking of that, sir, ano, I think Benilde Hi-Fi really is parang an avenue wherein parang ma-solve mga problems sa society na may kinalaman sa social exclusion, yung mga excluded, nagsusupport ito ng mga startups to solve those problems. Now, speaking about the incubator aspect, sir, ng Benilde Hi-Fi, so si Benilde Hi-Fi TBI, ano exactly yung parang ginagawa niya in order to do that?
Okay.
So, how exactly is it supporting startups? Ano ba yung mga programs dito, etc.?
So again, let's look at it from the lens of innovation, 'di ba? By inclusion. So one of the things happening in the Philippine landscape nowadays is there's now a lot of legislation, 'di ba? The Startup Innovation Act, Philippine Creative Industry Act, Digital Competitiveness, National Library. So there's a lot of laws, it's a lot of IRRs, there's a lot of funding. But guess what happens? When the startup founder, the Filipino says, "How can I access these funds? How do I access this?" A lot of them don't know even where to start. So from that
True.
lens, the question there is who is excluded. So in our minds kasi 'di ba parang kailangan mahirap ka. Minsan no, you can be not underprivileged, right? But what happens is what is due you, 'di ba? By law. Kasi may batas na, may RRR na, may implementing rules and regulations na, may funding ng gobyerno, may program na, may call for proposal. Kaso hindi ka naman marunong gumawa ng R&D proposal. Eh di
Mm.
technically excluded ka pa rin.
Mm.
So see that? So kasi
Gets.
minsan when you be exclusion, parang feeling natin, ano yan, maralita and all that. Sure, that's SGD1, extreme
Mm.
poverty. In fact, that metric is not for poverty, it's extreme poverty. Extreme poverty
Mm.
means you live under $2 a day.
Yes.
So that means if you make 31 days times 2, if you make $63 a month, hindi ka na extreme poverty, poverty ka na lang. That's one way to view it, right? So obviously there are other metrics there to be solved, right? But one of the things is for startup innovation, wherein we already have legislation and programs and
Mm.
funding, the very simple question is, okay, if the way to do it is apply and create the R&D proposal, next question is, how do I actually craft that proposal?
Mm.
So that's one of the things we help startups do. We tell them about the deadlines when this call for proposal. For example, it started yesterday, no? I guess March 3. There is the Startup Grant Fund program is happening. So start March 3, it will end around March 31. Call for proposals yan. So someone has to call all these startups and, hey, by the way, uy, mag-apply ka na. Right? Second is, oh, ito na yung application form. Paul, paano to? How do I do my R&D proposals? So, as of March 2023, when we started this incubation program, no, the BTS, Benil Trailblazer Startup Incubation Program, funded by DOSTP Shared, we have helped fund 9 startups so far at the tune of 30.1 million pesos of equity-free funding. I think there's 2 more startups now. We'll learn March 6. An additional 10 million. So imagine we would have hopefully no by the grace of God by March 6 uh in 2 years time we would have funded 11 startups at 40.1 million pesos equity free. Wala siyang utang and they're not giving away uh equity. So I think that's a very good example of one of the programs. Obviously, we have other programs. We have crowdfunding with Spark Project for the students here to help them raise at least 100,000 pesos as a test. No? Kasi a lot of them, oh, I want to be a startup founder. So we tell them, okay, why don't you crowdfund? So like me, we crowdfunded parang a social innovation town hall for one of our mission schools no, in Bacolod. So, I personally raised 120,000 pesos na crowdfund just for me to experience how to do that personally. So, on my birthday, lahat ng kaibigan ko, tinawagan ko, minesis ko, magbigay kayo ng 300 to 1,000 pesos. I was
Dami
able
nun.
to raise. Yeah.
Halos
So,
1,000.
what I'm saying is, it can be done, no?
Yes.
But the thing is, like you said, what are programs? That's a simple test, no? We work with sila Patch Dulay ng Spark Project to give the students an experience kasi if you can't even raise, you don't have to raise 100,000. No? Like some of our startup raise 50, 60,000. But if you're not able to raise that, maybe the startup life is not for you. Ang tawag ko doon, maybe your nervous system is not set up for it. So, or maybe you can keep trying it. Maybe do it another year until your nervous system adjusts for it. So see that we have for students, you can raise 160,000 to 100,000 pesos to writing a proposal. We have various grants like the DOSTP shared SGF. There's also for women-led, the women helping women innovating social enterprise, WHYs under PShared. Also, there's also the Technicom under DOST TAPI. There's ASEAN grants, ERAYA. This year, sana I wrote we helped write for the first time for one of the startups a fund. I don't know, ano to via USAID because of Elon and Dodge.
Nawala nga pala sa USAID.
So parang tuwan-tuwa ako. Wow, first time one of my startups was able to file a grant January 15, which is hard kasi January 15, New Year, everyone is still in party mode. So imagine mo, if you submitted January 15, when were we doing the proposal? You're doing it after January 1. So those are some of the things we're doing. We have a lot of programs how to set up your startup. We say the 3 pillars. Develop the founder, meaning like I explained, the Lasallian way of doing it. You might want to become a founder, but the question is, do you want to work with us? Kasi nga, we're very precise in what we want to do. We work under the innovation via inclusion by asking the question who is excluded. Next is develop the product and the service, which is, ito naman, if you're in the startup ecosystem, everyone knows this, di ba? The lean model canvas, business model canvas, all that, di ba? The validation, all that. So, have to go through that and develop your product. And as an incubator, that's our role, no? Bring you from idea to eventually product market fit. Then, the last is develop the enterprise, which is the boring stuff, di ba? Parang incorporate your company, DTI, SEC, get a bank account, get a tax, and pag-ibig, even a bid in government, PhilJeps, Yan, that's the other thing, no? For example, people kind of don't miss the fact when they apply for the R&D grant, one of the things that DOST should insist on is that you have IP, intellectual property. 5 lang naman ang IP, di ba? Copyright, trademark, patent,
Patent.
utility model, and industrial design. By the way, we have an industrial design course. We're one of the few schools that have that. And industrial design is specific to the industrial design parang vertical, no? So we have industrial designers. The thing is, if you have IP, so you get a grant, you get IP, it actually allows you to do direct contracting with the government, so you don't have to go through bidding. So a lot of people don't even know that. So that's why you go through this. There's about 59 TBIs like at no Animal Labs, EPSilB, di ba? The one in Miriam, all this.
MCTBI.
And the goal of a government funding that is number one, to generate IP, so they'll become part of their Swiss knife of intervention, so they can offer to the LGUs. I think there's about 166 chartered cities, so hindi pa included yung municipalities, and then there are provinces, and then also you have the national agency. So imagine mo all the technologies with DOST. If you have the IP, you can start contacting na via direct contracting. Just say, hey, we want to work with you, and basically it's like a moat kasi ikaw lang may IP nun, di ba? So see, if you don't know that, again, you're excluded.
Lack of information.
Di ba? So lack of information is exclusion. Missing the deadline is exclusion. Not knowing how to create the R&D, exclusion. May accelerator, you don't know how to, like today, just before this, I was on a call, the accelerator that we're working with in New York, shout out to batchaccelerator.com by sila Emma and Armen Kerlopian in New York, and one of them, one of their LPs or limited partner is a Filipina, si Angeli Lavilla, married to attorney Israelian. They're offering full scholarships, no, to Filipino startups, but they're being asked, what is your runway, what is your valuation? So again, if you don't know how to answer that, you're excluded. So buti sila, they're kind of a friendly accelerator. They'll go back and forth, Paul, correct the valuation. But if that was a normal accelerator, for example, YC, Y Combinator, 10,000 applications, they only get 250. I don't think they'll have the patience to go back and forth. Hey, correct. So imagine how people are excluded because they're missing that piece of information. And they probably learn it, but imagine mo if the cycle is they have 2-3 calls a year, that means you just keep missing that opportunity, right? So think about of all the little things that you need to do, that if you don't know the answer to that, you're basically excluded from that. And that's what we're trying to mitigate. In fact, a lot of people don't even know what a TBI is. You tell them TBI, what's a TBI? Technology Incubator. We're funded by the government. We're funded by the school. We have grants, diba, to offer you. And in the grants, ito pa yun, when you apply for the grant, it will ask you if there's a TBI that will endorse you. So sometimes you did all the R&D proposal, and then the last part is, which is not normally done by it, if you look the proposal, they will ask sino yung TBI mo, and if you don't have a relationship with the TBI, you'll miss the deadline again. So they see all these steps that are normally not, how do you say, hindi siya obvious. It's unobvious to most people, and that's what we're trying to help with for the startups in our ecosystem.
Yeah, actually sir, ang dami ko na-encounter na mga tao, mga Filipino, na they have a startup idea but they really don't know where to start. And I guess yun nga yung parang sinosolve kumbaga na problem ng mga TBIs, ano? Kasi medyo uso ngayon yung mga accelerator, parang talagang scaling your startup. Pero ano yung nasa gitna na parang idea, ano yung nasa gitna bago sa accelerator? So yun pala actually ang role ng mga
idea to
incubators.
Idea
to PMF.
So to simplify it, incubators like us, from idea, we bring it to product market fit. What's product market fit? Basically, you're a money machine. Ibig sabihin, I put in $1, may black box. Whatever you're doing, dapat lalabas na hindi $1. Dapat 1.1x at least, 1.5, 2.5x, whatever, sa money machine. Once you're a money machine kasi, that means time equals money now, comes into play. So, we always say time equals money. So, iba, ikot ko lang yung pera, I'll just cycle the money. If you just cycle the money, you end up what I call the glorified amortization table. So, 100,000, you make 250, bayad ka ng inflation, babalik ka 200,000, ikot mo. So, question is, when are you going to reach $1 billion, $1 billion? That's gonna take you a lot of iterations. So, kumikita ka na, you're already PMF, your product market fit. Once you reach PMF, you now approach an accelerator. So, okay, incubator, idea to PMF, right? Accelerator basically does two things. Number one, it has a Rolodex, o medyo old school na wala nang Rolodex, a database of investors, angels, family offices, venture capital. And the accelerator program, to help the startup say what they need to say to the VC. Kasi yung VC, they have millions of dollars, but their goal is they have to deploy it within a short period of time. So normally a fund is 10 years, but now 7 years or 5 years. But normally the capital is deployed within the next 3 years. And normally, even though the fund is 7 years, 10 years, the fund is gone by 3 years kasi nagpa-fund stacking yung VC. Once they give away the money, they'll raise another fund. So that means, imagine mo, I raised let's say a $10 million fund. Within 3 to 4 years, ubus na yung pera nila kasi they're deploying. So imagine you're a startup, they meet you, you don't know the answer. The VC will just say after 5 minutes, I don't think you know what your business is. Then they'll move on. So you just miss an opportunity. So the goal of the accelerator is to educate the startup para they know the answer to the VC's questions, which has to be automatic. For example, what's your exit? So normally, sagot yan, dapat IPO. What's your TAM, SAM? So dapat yung, at least yung TAM mo is $1 billion, no? Para your ARR is like, divide by 10 of that, $100,000, $100 million, no? So you need to show the pathway how you're gonna achieve $100 million within 3 to 4 years, let's say, di ba? Tapos, what's your market? I'm in the Philippines, but I have a regional market. I want to reach that. So, there are certain things na tatanungin nung VC. If the accelerator did its job properly, they'll be able to answer that without even blinking. But if they don't know how to answer that, sabi na ng VC, oh, you did not do your homework. So again, excluded na naman yung startup, right? So yun. So at least clear. Is that
Actually,
clearer now?
yun yung buong path ng startup, So
Correct.
from idea, then
Product
an
market
incubator
fit.
might help you to PMF. Actually, I think going to PMF, ang role din ng incubator is parang andyan din yung compliance. For example, yung mga
Correct.
registration na kailangan, mga tax paying or whatever. And then yun nga, yung raising even that small capital, you need to validate your product, And then until reaching that part na you commercialize, you market it out, and then you actually become profitable somehow, such that money-making machine na nga yung product mo. And then when you have that PMF, when you want to scale, when you want to inject more capital para talagang mag-accelerate din somehow, you go to an accelerator that will really help you. Boom.
So if you notice that you can actually just take a lot of time to do that, or yung exchange mo yung time equals money. Sabi ng VC, huwag mo nang gawin yan. Ikot-ikot pera. Ito na yung pera. So remember that money machine, right? So if I say $1 comes in, 1.5 goes out. So that means if I put in $10 million, 1.5, $15 million comes out. So pwede maghati na lang yung VC tsaka yung startup. So sometimes it's clear to people that, I'm bootstrap, I'll continue to be bootstrap. Okay lang yan, but the good thing is, in our ecosystem, there are VCs, there are family offices, there are angels who are willing to give you money para you can accelerate your journey, your path to greatness. Ika nga.
Ayun. So, now ang questions, para din mas may context at mas maintindihan ng mga nakikinig. Kasi baka may nakikinig dyan na may idea now. Baka may CSB student, De La Salle student. By the way, is Binil Hi-Fi open to
so
all students?
we primarily cater. So, dalawa yung mandate namin. Binil dyan La Salle community at large, right? But the second is, yun, all the small, medium enterprises who want to become a startup. So, when we say you want to become a startup, that means you have at least a technology. that which will allow you to scale. Kasi it's very hard to scale without technology. What will scale a business is the technology.
So para mas may para pwede ba tayo sir magbigay ng ilang examples ng mga startups na natanggap sa Benil Hafer? Parang ano yung parang exact na pwedeng mga gawin, ano yung exact na mga pwedeng problem na i-solve or mga technology na pwedeng i-apply in order to be part of Benil Hi-Fi.
Okay,
And
so
also question sir, when you accept them to Benil Hi-Fi, parang part ba ng criteria na you think that they will become big, you will really guide them into an accelerator later on and into VC funding later on. So ganun ba yung parang
okay.
nakikita ni sir?
So like I said, 'di ba? You need to convince the VC if there's a pathway.
Yes.
So one way to approach is the question, does that startup has a non-zero chance of becoming a $1 billion company valuation, 'di ba? A unicorn. So dapat hindi zero. Okay. So how do you solve that? So for example, TAM Samsung, total addressable market. If your TAM is not $1 billion at least, parang mahirap maging unicorn kasi that means there's not enough market to absorb the demand eh. So yun yung first na tanong mo. Are you in a market which will allow you to become a $1 billion company? So for example, we have one Shoppable. Shoppable is one of our funded startups.
Oh, wow.
They actually their TAM is 100 billion na pag kinumbit mo kasi B2B sila eh, e-commerce. So B2B is 6x of what is B2C. So I think B2C is about 10 billion tapos times 60 times 6, 'di ba? So 80 billion. Laki, 'di ba? So ibig sabihin, the chances of them becoming, and in order to do that, you just need to do 1/10, no? So ibig sabihin, to reach yung TAM mo, if that's big, you only need naman $100 million ARR. Eh, ang laki ng market mo, 'di ba? 80 billion. So chances of winning. Okay. But let's look, but not everything's like that. So let's look at an example. For example, one of our startups, Everything Green. I think this is a case of a startup that can become a social enterprise, no? Unicorn. So ito, they got orders from DTI. They were able to get a purchase order of $13.2 million a year. So basically, if they get 7 more orders, $100 million na sila. And they're making slippers from coconut coir waste. So that's a case of you can have a social enterprise that can actually become a unicorn. There. Yeah.
Actually, we want that na unicorn na social enterprise na may nagagawang social impact kumbaga.
Okay.
Is payroll processing taking too much of your time? Introducing Sprout Payroll Starter. For as low as 5,000 pesos per month, you get a team of experts to help you with your payroll and HR needs. We'll help compute and process payroll, handle all your government compliance requirements, and automate timekeeping. Leave the payroll to us so you can focus on growing your business. Enjoy peace of mind with Sprout Payroll Starter. Trust the digital future with Twala. Secure and tamper-proof digital signature. Electronic notarization service. And custom AI agents for intelligent document workflows. Visit twala.io to learn more. In today's digital world, your organization needs more than just technology. It needs a strategic partner. At Symph, we build web and mobile apps that drive innovation for startups, enterprises, and organizations worldwide. Visit symph.co today.
So ngayon continuing from our conversation with Sir Paul, to let our startups out there know, or maybe baka meron dyang mga wala pang startups pero interesado na ma-incubate, or if maybe you have an idea you want to nourish, you want to build into a startup. So kasama natin ngayon ang Incubation Management Unit Head ng Binid Hi-Fi TBI, si Sir Alexander Abiar or Sir Alex.
Hello everyone.
Ayan, Sir Alex, so ang question now is for startups or for people who have ideas and want to bring these ideas into Binid Hi-Fi TBI. So ano nga ba yung parang process for them joining and meron bang parang criteria of selection? So basically baka may interesado dyan ngayon na nakikinig who want to enter Binid Hi-Fi TBI. So basically, how can they do so? What will they do?
Okay, sige. So napakadali lang to join our incubation program. Just fill up the form. We have a database for all our incubated projects or the startups being incubated. So just visit bit.ly/bigboxbinild. Again, bit.ly/bigboxbinild. No? So you'll just fill up the form. Kasama na din doon partly yung assessment ng mga startups. And it will further give you instructions on what to do next after filling up the form. So of course, tinatanong mo ako about the metrics, no? Ano ba yung qualification?
Yeah.
And I think Sir Paul mentioned earlier na actually, Hi-Fi advocates to include those who are not included or those who are excluded. So kami in Hi-Fi, we actually lower the barrier, no? So simple qualification. If you want to be incubated, regardless kung ano ba, kung may product ka na or idea stage ka na or medyo advanced ka na, para sa amin, if simply if you want to join our advocacy or if you simply or if you simply want to be incubated, then you may join us.
Yeah.
Then after that, we will guide you. We actually use KTH Innovation Readiness Level. So I think dito sa Philippines, we usually assess our startups sa dalawa lang, technology and funding readiness level. But we actually bumped up nung sa Sweden. Nagpunta kasi ako sa Sweden. I studied there for a leadership program. They shared with us yung KTH Innovation Readiness. So ang difference lang niya, naging 6 from 2 readiness level na sinusukat. So we have team readiness, IP readiness, again technology, funding, customer readiness. Ano pa nga ba yung isa? Nakalimutan ko yung isa, basta 6 yun. But definitely, we will share it with the startups pag nag-decide sila to join us. No? So I'm not sure then if Sir Paul shared this earlier with you, but we actually have 3 pillars in our incubation program.
You can reiterate.
Ayan. So just to reiterate, we have founder development, creative tech product, and the business development. So ang ibig sabihin lang nun, if halimbawa gusto mo lang, kumbaga formative muna for the founder, then okay lang. Kasi of course, we want to align with the Lasallian mission, vision, etc. No? Then next one, creative tech product. So when may idea ka na but hindi mo alam kung paano siyang gagawin totoo or sinasabi nga namin product market fit. So that's where we guide you. Then of course, yung business readiness. It's one thing to make the product, but to make the actual business work is another thing. So hindi naman lahat yon kailangan mo i-take, but of course we suggest that you take the 3. So if you feel like hindi mo na kailangan ng founder readiness, then okay lang din.
Okay, I see.
Hindi siya linear for us.
Okay. So ganun plan nag-work ang mga ano, no? Is this cohort style, no? Cohort style din ba ito? Or basically, you can just let a startup in if they want to? Or parang may cohort din? Or may batch?
Basically, we just group them on the year that they applied with us.
Okay.
Tapos, si Binil kasi is trimestral. So, we actually also
kasabay doon.
sinasabay namin doon para hindi din nakakalito for us. But I mean, you can come and join us whenever.
Okay, ayun. Ayun, so
Mm.
actually ano, if may nakikinig nga ngayon na talagang interesado na, so they just go to the link. I'll also put that link below, yung Bitly link, and then basically assess yourself also. Do you want to join the Binild Hi-Fi group, knowing its
Yeah.
principles, the Lasallian culture behind, knowing the people then that you'll get to work with, and knowing na si Binild Hi-Fi ay in the creative industry kumbaga. So also pushing for social innovation and inclusion. So yung mga napag-usapan kanina with Sir Paul, if you think you're aligned to that and you think you have that will to be a founder and really to
Mm.
build the business big, to really grow that, so maybe
Yeah.
you're swak sa Binild Hi-Fi. So thank you Sir Alex. Siguro just to wrap up this conversation, ano ba nga ba yung parang ang ginagawa pa ni Binild Hi-Fi? Maybe so now basically merong incubation program.
Right.
And then ano ba yung parang plans maybe? Actually, I want to say na napakaganda ng building na 'to actually when I was outside, and napakaganda ng interior, and natutunan ko na ikaw pala ang
Thank
isa
you.
sa mga or ikaw ba yung major na nag-design ng building na 'to?
Actually, I designed this together with my mentor, si Architect AJ Javier. So, I was part of the Javier Design Studio Manila back in 2016 to 17. Then we got the project. So, being a Biniljan myself, ayun, nabigay sa akin yung project to design this.
Ayun, and this is also like the parang office of the startups incubated, and parang co-working space din siya. And I
Yes.
think meron ding space for some programs, some events for networking, pitching maybe, baka
Yeah.
demo day pwede rin dito. But ayun, so ano mga ba yung mga ginagawa pa ni Binild Hi-Fi, and ano ba yung mga aabangan naming programs maybe or activities in maybe later this year or
Yeah.
after a few years pa?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of programs or activities ongoing. May mga nagsasabi nga na parang ang dami namin ginagawa. But yeah, to share with the community here, aside from the Binil Trailblazer Startup Incubation Program, we also have Binil Alumni Technopreneur Awards. So I think within this week, mag-relaunch kami kasi we are on our third run of the Binil Alumni Technopreneur Awards. So the BEAT Awards, for short, it's our program to recognize existing technopreneurs, graduates of Binil, of course. So hindi lang yung mga bachelor programs namin, but also yung other programs namin. Kasi meron din kami mga certification programs, ganyan.
By the way, so si Binild Hi-Fi, actually, I want to understand the structure lang, kasi nung nasa baba ako kanina, nakita ko yung palang structure. So si TBI ay part ni Binild Hi-Fi? Or paano ba yung parang organization structure na to? Kasi si Binild Hi-Fi, college din ba to? Kasi parang may nag-offer din na classes.
We're not a college. We are the incubator arm of the college.
CSB.
Yeah.
And then, kasi meron din mga parang may mga ibang ginagawa din ng mga classes nga, nag-offer din ng classes, right? Or workshop or
workshops for the incubatees.
for the incubatees.
Yeah.
Okay. So, pero itong building na to?
Building is open to wait. So let me try to frame that correctly, no? So this is open to the community.
Okay.
That's number one. But of course, our priority is for the startups
Incubatees.
or basically our community. So that includes mentors, volunteers, etc. So we offer the space or our services for free to our incubatees, mentors, etc. But if dahil of course we want to sustain the whole advocacy or the mission, so may sustainability plan din kami. So part of it is we ask for donation in return of use. For example, kunwari lang, si Startup Podcast PH wants to rent our space. Yan, then you donate.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if kunwari the whole third floor you want to
Make an office?
make use. So pwede ka gumamit in return of a small amount of donation.
Okay, gets.
Meron din kaming mga ano dito, office spaces. So if you want, pwede din.
Okay. So, ang galing pala actually ng structure din nitong Binid Hi-Fi building and TBI. Kasi actually, TBIs are also actually startups kasi you also have to make your sustainability plan nga eh. Kasi after
Right.
ng funding, you need to have a continuous source of revenues din And yun nga parang possible nga na mangyari na yung mga facilities dito ay pwedeng ipagamit with a certain amount of donation.
Maliit lang yun actually.
Yeah.
It's not even enough to for a runway to sustain the operations.
Okay.
But it's really sinasabi nga nila this is a mission of Binil then Saint
Right.
Lasal. So malaki talaga yung kumbaga yung damage in terms of fund. But ayun, that's what we do eh. We want to amplify the whatever initiatives yung ginagawa ng mga students namin or ng community namin.
Yeah.
Kumbaga we want to take it further.
Yeah, mission driven din kasi talaga actually yung mga kwento ni Sir Paul kanina ng history ng DLSU and CSBU is actually very mission driven and
Yeah.
ayun, so I think nahawa din si Binid Hi-Fi na it's also really a mission driven facility.
Yeah.
First, really to support startups, to amplify what students are or what the community is doing, and to kumbaga bring these creative industries ideas pushing for social innovation and inclusion
Yeah.
talaga into the larger audience or into the larger part of society. So ayun, thank you again. Thank you kay Sir Paul and thank you Sir Alex for this conversation about Binid Hi-Fi.
I like that. Like that.
Introducing Aim High. Smarter construction management starts here. Monitor costs and progress with real-time insights. Plan ahead and adapt with streamlined scheduling tools. Make data-driven decisions to avoid costly delays. Increase efficiency and profit with Aim High.
Okay, siguro lang if our listeners want to know more about Binid Hi-Fi or maybe about the key people here, so how can they contact you? How can they know more aside from the link na lalagay ko rin sa baba on how to join, on how to become part of Binid Hi-Fi if you want to be incubated?
Yeah. So for those who wants to know more about Hi-Fi and kumbaga kung sino man yung gusto ma-loop in with whatever we are doing, please follow us on Facebook. So just search for Binid Hi-Fi, Hi-Fi, HIFI, no? So that's Hub of Innovation for Inclusion. We have Facebook, Instagram. We also have Medium. We also have TikTok. But most active is the Facebook.
Ayun. I'll put those links sa description and if you want to connect with Binid Hi-Fi, feel free to connect.
Yeah, or feel free to drop by here at 1049 Pio Campos Street at Vito Cruz.
Actually, basically, malapit sa LRT station, medyo ng Vito Cruz and kaya mo na lakarin.
Yeah.
Galing sa LRT station. And ayun, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much to our 56 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskXPH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and more. Founders Launchpad, our ecosystem partner. Early stage accelerator providing venture capital funding, operational support, and mentorship. Cloud CFO, tech-forward cloud-based accounting service provider for businesses. Cloverly Tech, all-in-one digital platform for property developers. Body BTs, accessible and personalized diabetes self-management application. HKB Digital Services, tech-based business tools including payroll, ticketing, and loyalty rewards. Hyperstocks, digital banking enabler for rural and thrift banks. 1 CFO, CFO services, bookkeeping and tax, and payroll processing for startups and small businesses. Unawa, driving digital transformation with secure, legally enforceable electronic signatures and robust AML compliance. Schooltech, all-in-one AI-integrated school and learning management system. Better Support, a Manila-based BPO company. They are offering a referral program for anyone who can bring in new clients. Let us know if you know any Western-based business that might have a need. Britana, cloud-based enterprise-grade ERP solution that fits a small and medium business budget. Wonder Brand, data science-driven brand strategy and design company for emerging markets. Fail Coach, business training, coaching, and consulting for startups and SMEs who are scaling or finding product market fit. Drive Manila, Philippines' largest peer-to-peer car rental community. East Point Business Outsourcing Services, one-stop shop for streamlined business solutions for MSMEs such as business registration, bookkeeping, and more. Doon, Philippines' first fully insured peer-to-peer car sharing marketplace. Higher Business Solutions, provider with the most configurable cloud-based payroll system in the Philippines. DVCo Technologies Incorporated, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain smart contracts, digital wallets, and cybersecurity. Mata Technologies, Philippines' premier provider of virtual tours and maps for LGUs, real estate, tourism, and private businesses. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. NutriCoach, personalized nutrition and weight loss programs for you. This episode is powered by Wasteless PH, Tech Tribe, Yay, Uplift Codecamp, Board Prep, Dohe Philippines, Edfolio, Hive Rooms, Kazam, CodeCham, Jur.ph, Big Giant Games, Agile Data Solutions, Hustle PH, Pahatid PH, Pareto Consulting, Sirius MD. Support the podcast through the link in the description.